Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy Godsey and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
The Stone Roadie Show, podcast number 219, Wake and Bake, The Morning Buzz, episode 97, action. Alrighty then, fellow Earthlings, looky here, looky here. It's another edition of the Stone Roadie Show. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stone Roadie, also known as, you guys know, the most famous roadie on the face of the earth since the dawn of time, since the dinosaurs roamed this fat, flat earth. And with me today, as normal, my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. And today we have our special guest, Todd Howarth. And I don't know much about Todd, and sorry, but I got brain damage and I can't know everything about everybody and everything about everything. Today. So I kind of leave it to Griff to do the little update on Todd. So Todd, Griff, why don't you tell us who the heck Todd is there over? And welcome there, Todd.
Yeah, we got us some rock and roll royalty here today. Todd, man, I tell you what, you're kind of like all over the place. You know, somebody trying to follow you'd be like trying to follow a dragonfly around or something. I mean, this guy here, we're talking Cheap Trick, Ted Nugent, Ace Frehley, Frehley's Comets, affiliated with all kinds of people, in some light ways and some heavy ways. But I would say probably mainly Frehley's Comet and Cheap Trick would be probably your heavy affiliation. Wouldn't you say, Todd?
Yeah, I'm probably best known for, well, first off, hi, Griff. Hi, Griff. Nice to meet you finally face to face. I'm most known for Frehley's Comet with Ace, of course, from Kiss. I played a lot longer for Cheap Trick for many years, on and off actually. But yeah, those are the two big bands that I'm mostly known for.
And rather versatile in instruments too. You do keyboards, bass, and then that guitar that you play, it's almost like a Stratocaster on steroids or something. What kind of guitar is that?
Well, there's that. All my Steinbergers are the early Steinbergers, late 80s, early 90s, by Ned Steinberger. They're headless guitars. Matter of fact, Ace Frehley from when we were in the studio recording I think the first album or the second one, I can't even remember which one. I think it was the first record. And I was playing and I couldn't get a sound. I didn't like the way something was sounding. And he handed me this black headless Steinberger. I said, what the hell is this? And he says, yeah, play it. That's the way he talked, play it. So I played it, and the neck was a little more thin than I'm used to. But the sound, oh my God, because I'm principally a rhythm player. I do play some leads, but I'm all melody songwriter type guy. And I started playing through my 100-watt Marshall in the studio with a Steinberger, and it sounded like, musical gods to me. It was just amazing. So I got hooked on it pretty quickly. And so to date, right now, I have 18 of those guitars now, all of that vintage era. There are collector's items and, of course, investments. But yeah, I play guitar. I started out on singing first and foremost, and then I took piano lessons when I was really young and went and played piano. And then I gravitated towards drums when a friend of mine had his drum set over when we had a band of two-member band, keyboards and drums. We were dreadful, but we had that going, and so I'd play the drums every chance I'd get. And then my dad's employees for his company, carpet cleaning company, had some guitars. They'd lend me guitars, and I'd bring them home and bash out, make a bunch of noise. So I learned how to navigate my way around all these instruments. But I'm best at songwriting and singing, I believe.
First off, I'd like to thank TP, who's your buddy, who hooked us up with you. And yeah, she's a great listener of our podcast. And I tell you what, I've never met her, but I wouldn't want to mess with her. She's I tell you what, man, she's a firecracker, isn't she? We love her. We love TP.
Yeah, I have to thank her as well. We've been friends because she's locally here in San Diego, and she's also pretty bad little singer too herself.
Yeah, she does that Journey tribute band.
Yeah, I've yet to see her. I've seen her, I think, once or twice at NAMM, the music convention up in Anaheim, and it was always great running into her. We think a lot alike on a lot of different levels of thought process, for the nation and musically. So it's really nice. But thank you, TP, for getting Griff and me hooked up here.
And just to get a little background on you there, Todd. So you grew up in San Diego, right?
Right.
San Diego, California. And what was it? Was your parents kind of musically a big presence in your career, or how did you get started?
Well, my mother, my real biological mom, was a singer, but she never sang professionally, and her dad sang as well. But he, it was always for fun. He's Irish English descent, and so they'd be singing a lot, but they never really pursued it. And I just was always surrounded by my father's big band music. When he would listen to it in his cars, he had a reel-to-reel tape machine in his 51 Cadillac.
Oh, wow.
And
that's crazy.
It just sat in the back seat. But he would play that, and then he had the hi-fi stereos and his bachelor beach pad, because my parents got divorced before I was a year old. So I was always listening to music, and when I was moved around from family members in my younger years because of the divorce. And one day I was living with my aunt and uncle, and my older cousin came home and said, "Hey, they're going to be on TV tonight. They're going to be on TV." And I'm like, "Who's they and who's what?" And it was 1964. It was Ed Sullivan, the Beatles.
Right, yeah.
I sat there and watched it, and I've already been singing a little bit, and listening to music, but nothing major. But I sat there and I listened to the Beatles, and I was transfixed, and all these women are screaming. I was far too young to know what, women really meant, but I knew they were important, and I knew it was probably a good thing to get to. I like all the music and the screaming and girls. Yeah, I like girls too. Even at a young age, I sort of knew that, girls were a good thing. So, and my dad got married to my stepmom, and she had a piano in her room. Of course, I went in there, and I would tinker-tonk on it, and I'd start, screw around writing these primitive songs. And my stepmom says, well, sing this song with me. So I'd sing, and I'd have all these, a couple of Beatle records, and I'd sing the Beatle records on their hi-fi. And my mom really pushed it and she said to my dad, "He's got talent. He needs to take some lessons." And my dad was, blue collar working, tough guy. He said, "Oh, good. Maybe he take lessons after he gets a job, or something like that." So I ended up taking lessons anyhow. And my stepmom really pushed me to do it. And that's when it just, started accelerating into my love of music, was because my genetic talent, and then my stepmom pushed me into it because she knew I had talent, So that's where that came from.
Yeah, one thing about Todd is I've noticed, he's a kind of a blue collar guy. You don't mind getting your hands dirty. Every time I talk to you, you're like busy doing something, and you're a hands-on kind of guy, and that's kind of rare, to find somebody in the music business that does their own stuff, and you seem like that kind of guy.
It's a little dangerous when you work with your hands to do manual labor though too.
Yes, yeah, it is.
I'm always hurting my
And a lot of
hands.
people. Oh yeah, I've destroyed. I've got pictures of injuries. Where I've slammed fingernails, they swell up, and I have to use a drill to release the blood. And I've done that. And people freak out when they see that.
Right, that's not good for a guitar player.
No, I've had that, and I've had, but I have to do. I've done physical stuff all my life, and out of necessity, and because, well, primarily necessity, because it needed to be done.
Right.
I've always been careful. Skill saws, chop saws. I mean, I'm using them today. I just got done building a structure on one of our properties over here that need to have a gazebo over a double dumpster bin that I had to do, and it was a very heavy structure. But I built it and did it myself, got it done. There's so many things that I've done: cement, electrical, construction. Fencing, all roofing, everything, because I've saved my family hundreds of thousands of dollars because I've worked for the family. I said, look, I can do that cheaper. And then my dad would also say, hey, can you do that cheaper? And well, yeah, I can do it cheaper. And so I just put forth the effort. And every time I use a tool, like just yesterday, I'm very careful and conscious.
Oh, yeah.
Kickbacks and where my thumbs and fingers and hands are. Because one mistake and everything's over with,
Oh, right. Yeah.
I've been very fortunate, very careful, but I'm very blue collar. Yeah.
You mentioned horsepower when we were talking off the air. You must have done some mechanical work. That's where my hands get the worst.
Oh yeah.
The worst.
I'm putting on bruise cream now from that beating, and this beating. It's always something. But yeah, my dad was at the Gearhead when he was younger, and he used to build all his engines, little 6-cylinder Fords, for his vans and stuff like that. So when I was a kid, I'd walk by it and see it all exploded, torn apart and laid out. I'm like fascinated by it. Put all this stuff together and it makes everything work. So I was interested in that, and I had go-karts and mini bikes. My dad, he was working hard. He didn't have a lot of money. My step grandparents had all the money. My dad didn't have any money, so he'd buy me like used go-kart and used mini bike. I thought that was the best thing in the world because we had 100 acres. I'm starting that thing up and I'm out of here, and it was so much fun. But so I learned how to rebuild engines. I raced motocross, amateur racing. I really no professional racings, but then I ended up building my own engines and cars and transmissions. And I had a big black Corvette with 427 for 26 years. I kept blowing up the transmissions and that. And I have off-road stuff, and yeah, so I know how to build engines and do mechanical stuff. I was working on 2 cars today. My dad has about 25 or 30 cars. I don't know. I think he's hiding a few from me, but. And so I'm working on those, keeping those going. I just had to go get a battery for the 57 T-Bird that we refinished a couple of years ago. But I'm always involved in that kind of stuff. I love that. My wife wants an AC Cobra kit car. So I'm probably going to build, because I can't afford the 2.5 million, whatever they're going for now, Shelby Cobra. And I'd like to actually have a GT40 kit car as well, or a real Pantera. But that's, we all want a shitload of things, but what we end up with is something entirely different.
You said your dad was in the carpet cleaning business?
Yeah, he started a company. He was working with the Harris Rug Company here in San Diego. And the Harris Rug Company had a building that in the middle of the building had this big, tall, square thing that went up, and that was a drying rack for all the carpets.
Oh, wow.
That building is now a rock place. It's been for years, called Brick by Brick.
Okay.
So anybody that lives here locally knows what Brick by Brick is. That building has this big square thing up top, and they've got the sign on the top that says Brick by Brick. And very few people know that was the Harris Rug Cleaning Company that my dad worked for, and that he split off from that and started his own company.
That's kind of crazy because my dad had a flooring business, and I used to motocross race, and it sounded like we had the same kind of childhood, you know?
Oh yeah, just bust
Yeah.
your balls, bust your ass, and get out there. And I had stitches from crashes here, my back. I mean, I was really good on motocross actually, and number one in the world in 1975 was Marty Smith here in San
Yeah.
Diego. He went to my high school,
Oh, wow.
and he was a
Yeah.
grade ahead of me, and I was pretty quick. There was other guys in my school that was quick, but I never raced professionally. They kept saying, "You got to go race professionally," but I was doing music at the same time. I got to play my music, and I would. There was a place out here in Sorrento Valley where I used to ride, and Marty Smith would come out there and ride too. And one time I was doing this off-camber ride. I was doing a wheelie because I was badass doing a wheelie, I was falling, going this way. And Marty come up on the outside of me with one hand, doing the same thing quicker, waving at me. Like, you bastard. But I got the kid fast, man.
Well,
And then we
kids,
ran each other
kid,
out the sand
kids
dunes.
nowadays, all they do is they carry these tablets around, you know, they don't hardly do anything. They don't do like we did back in those days, you know.
It's actually, there's such a diverse 180 of, there's a lot of the kids that do the motocross stuff, and then you have the couch potatoes that float
Yeah.
with their heads in their,
Yeah.
that's all they do. And my grandson was like that. I said, you got to stop doing that shit and get out there and do stuff.
Go pull some weeds out in the yard, right?
And I made him do some stuff when he would visit me, and I'd wear his ass out. But now he just joined the Navy. He's in the the submarine division. So
Oh, that's cool. So,
Griff's
so
still got a couple of dirt bikes he's had since he was a
Yeah.
teenager.
I got a
Subaru?
Hodaka Combat Wombat, you know, out there in the shed. 1972 and a dirt squirt, you know.
those
I
are
don't know
those
if you
are
remember
classics.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember those.
they still
I had
run.
a Honda Elsinore 125 when they first came out.
Oh yeah, I had Elsinores too. Yeah, oh yeah, I've had all of them, and I've broken just about every bone. I got screws and pins everywhere, you know.
Yeah,
But,
that's unfortunate. I never broke any bones. I destroyed myself, but I guess because I was it's some genetic thing. Lucked out, I had strong bones. I got the shit kicked out of me on off road, but I never broke anything.
Yeah, they're dangerous, and especially on the road, you know.
Oh yeah, the road. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we've got 4 Harleys now, and I ride like I ride in the desert, like nobody sees me.
Yeah, I used to buy and sell Harleys, and you know, and then you know, back when they had like that OCC county chopper, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that. That was a big time. You know, there was a big push on all those bikes, and now I guess, you know, it's kind of backed off a little bit, and those Harleys are expensive, man.
Yeah, I toured the factory of Orange County when I was out there doing 4. when we were doing the 4x8, so that's hilarious. And then the smoke come
We
out.
have to do that every show. But there's people that bet on how many times I gotta hide my bowl because they demonetize.
Yeah,
it.
we have a following, Todd. Every time he does that, somebody has to take a shot of whiskey. It's
Oh man! And I got Maker's Mark downstairs, but
I got some Maker's
People
Mark in
bet
there,
on
too.
how many times I'm gonna hold up this sign during a podcast.
But anyway, back to the music. So you were influenced by the Beatles. Anybody else that you kind of followed?
well, yeah, by the Beatles was the first band that influenced me. And as time went on, and the years passed, I changed from. It went from Beatles to Humble Pie to Led Zeppelin to Black Sabbath to Steely Dan.
Oh wow, yeah.
To Kansas, Heart, Foreigner, Jeff Beck, Jan Hammer, and then if I back up a little bit, Carole King, Joni Mitchell. I mean, a lot of song. There was 2 sides: songwriting for me, and then there was performance of heavy rock stuff. Aerosmith, I loved all that heavy stuff. And then Van Halen became big in '79 when I was still living here, just before I moved to LA. and I was like a big Van Halen fan. I was like, yes, I'm like, who is this? What is this sound? So I was re-influenced a lot as I was growing up, and it people think that I was and Cheap Trick. I like Cheap Trick a lot. I was never a big Kiss fan, although I liked the theatrics and the business aspect of it, where the sellability was brilliant. Nobody else was doing that. It was phenomenal. I listened to Alice Cooper as well, and I liked his shows, the theatrics. But I had a lot of influences, and I keep getting new influences. As a matter of fact, I'm writing new stuff now for whatever. I may either sell some tracks or do another CD, solo CD. But stuff I'm writing now, I'm recording everything myself, and I'll have a local band do it because I want a band to record it. I've done way too many things of me playing everything, and I'm tired of hearing that. It's just like, some of it's come out really well, really good, but I want the energy of a real band. So
kind of like Todd Rundgren. He used to do all his he was cool. Yeah.
And he did a lot of Cheap Trick stuff, and when we'd do tours in Japan, if Todd was there, he'd come backstage, and Robin Zander kept saying, "You got to produce Todd, me." He said, "This guy's talented. He does all this shit, and you guys should get together and stuff like that." And it never happened, of course. But yeah, Todd Rundgren is. I used to listen to a lot of his stuff as well. He's brilliant at what he does.
So you got to hang with him some and work with him then, huh?
I hang with him a little bit, only by association with Cheap Trick.
Right.
I didn't really work with him. All the stuff I did for Cheap Trick, I only did a little bit of studio stuff, but not much because they always did it themselves, or they hired somebody who was local when they were working in Rockford, Illinois at the time. I wasn't. When I was touring with them, they were all living in Rockford, Illinois, and then the second time some were living, I think, in Nashville. I think Tom lived in Nashville, but I've run across a lot of people, and over the years, and some I've even forgotten to mention in my book. And like when you talk about the plane crash, well, holy shit, I forgot about that segment. So now when I go home edit my book, I've got to add that thing about the Keith Moon. I think it was a gong. For sure, it was a gong. Jamie Aldaker told me about that. The plane went down, but anyhow, I'm segueing.
Yeah, I saw. It's been a while. Todd Rundgren was on. You ever watch Daryl's House?
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
That was really good. I saw him on Daryl's House. You mentioned Keith Moon. We just had Sally Arnold, who, you ever heard that song "Lay Down Sally" that Eric Clapton wrote?
Yeah. Lay down Sally.
Yeah. She wrote a book, and Craig knew her really well because she managed Lynyrd Skynyrd back in the day, and she introduced, or she took you over to Keith Moon's house, right, Craig? And
right after he got thrown out of the Playboy Club, she took.
That's her book right there.
They sent him a case of Dom Perignon.
Oh wow!
After they threw him out,
yeah. Nice. Yeah, so Sally Arnold, she knows Keith Moon really well, and she, oh God, she babysitted Mick Jagger's kid and everything.
She was Mick Jagger's nanny, yeah.
Yeah, she was a great guest that we had on. So, okay. Well, how about your when you were growing up? Let's say what you had to start, like, have a little garage band that you started, huh?
Yeah, the band that I was telling you about, I played piano, and the drummer that went there from my junior high school was drumming away, and then we got another guy to play with us from the school. I think his name was, I'm not sure, Mike Mitchell. I'm not sure, but anyway, we did a concert in my junior high. It was just three of us, no vocals, no bass player, just drums and two bad guitar players. So that went over like a fart in church. Actually, everybody loved it. They thought I was like the cool. Well, at least I was told. A lot of people thought I was a cool cat because I was very athletic. I was, motocross and gearhead, and I could sing, and I had a reputation for being, a scrapper in school. If you crossed me, I'd just kick your ass for fun. Not everybody.
Skynyrd, yeah, sounded like Skynyrd.
The big guys there that could clean my clock, but anyhow, so over the years, I formed some bands, and then one of the bands I ended up being in here locally in San Diego was a band called Cocoa Blue, and that was into the mid '70s. About early in the mid '70s, and these guys are still all alive, of course, and they were still are phenomenal players. And one of them, well, let's see, the guitar and switch off bass is Ronnie Jones. He's local. He still plays here. He ended up doing a band called Black Bambi, and they had some marginal success back in the '80s. Really good. And then another guy was Bob Sale, a drummer, phenomenal. He played with Eve Sellis here locally, and he did some other stuff. This guy can do anything. He's a big jazz drummer. He was 15 years old or so when he was playing with us, and he was a little smartass, but that fucker was good. He could play unbelievable, and he's Canadian, and he became a citizen, and so we talk politics every once in a while because he's like me, like-minded, and I'm so proud of him. But such a great player. And then Louis Goldsmith was the lead guitar player that played bass as well. Phenomenal stuff. And we played all kinds of stuff from like ZZ Top. These guys could do ZZ Top, and Rick Derringer and Aerosmith, and I said, well, can we do some Steely Dan too? Like, oh yeah, sure, why not? But that's when I got a lot of my rock and roll influences. And then towards the last part of that band, it's a long story. I'll make it short. They found a bass player who became my cousin by marriage that I didn't even know about, and his name was Jason Sheff, and he was only 15 years old. And this little fucker was a brilliant, and we still talk today. He could play piano and drums, but his main instrument was bass, and he could sing a little. Well, he went on to be able to be a great singer. And he was the lead singer, bass player for the band Chicago for about 30-some years.
Cool.
But that band was the first band that we sold out a couple of arenas in halls in the Del Mar County Fairgrounds here. I think we sold out one time 3,000 people.
Oh, wow. That's great.
We had us and another band locally called Listen, who were a very good band here in San Diego, and we played with them. And back then, my range was even better. I could sing I was singing Barracuda by heart.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, we were just busting ass, and we did it well, And so that was the last really good cover band I was in, besides one more before I moved to LA. So yeah.
Yeah, you moved down to LA in 1979 is what I have in my notes here. What'd you do down there, Todd?
Actually, from here, we call it up, but it's okay. Up north in LA, I pounded the pavements. I worked a couple day gigs actually, and we put a band together. It's just Louis, the guitar player, and I moved up there. And then we had a girl lead singer that was a friend of ours. Actually, she was a girlfriend of both Louis and mine at different, intervals of time. She was a pretty good singer, and she had a friend who had a recording studio. So we started recording some songs and demos. And it was real good. It was kind of like almost like a female Van Halen type thing, I guess, sort of, if I had to classify it. But that lasted for a little bit until it didn't. And then I ended up joining a few other bands. But I went to the Starwood, which was a big, huge, popular club there. And I saw this band called 707. And they had a charting hit. I shouldn't say marginal, but a charting hit called I Could Be Good For You. I could be good for you, my. Back in the 80s. And they were, they weren't full Hollywood rock, but they were very cool. Hey, these guys are pretty damn good, rock and roll.
Are those the guys that you played the Troubadour and the Whiskey A Go-Go? Did you?
Yes.
Yeah. Same guy, 707.
I played. We did play the Whiskey, and I can't remember if we played the Troubadour or not. We probably did. God, I don't remember. I'm not sure if I was with them then or not, but definitely played the Whiskey. That band, I ended up auditioning for that band and joining them, and at my second audition, and we went on tour with REO Speedwagon on the High Fidelity tour.
Did Gene Simmons have something to do with you hooking up with 707?
No, that the band I was in was called. It was actually it had no title. It was the Mickey Free Band. A guy named Mickey Free, who later went on to join Shalimar. Very talented guy, a great looking guy. Actually, personally, I thought he was better looking than he was a singer. But he was had a great charisma. Wrote some pretty good songs out of Chicago, and we auditioned. That band auditioned for Gene Simmons and Diana Ross in L.A. to open up for Diana Ross. And of course, Gene was dating Diana at the time, and I was up there playing keyboards and guitar for this band as well. And Gene, he recognized. I mean, he saw me. He's like, come up and introduce himself, and hey, you're up there playing guitar and keyboards and doing all this stuff. I said, yeah, thank you. That's what I do. That's the first time I met him. Flash forward many years. The second time I met Gene, when I was playing with Fraley's Comet, Gene goes, hey, I remember you back in L.A. and SIR. I said, yeah, I was playing with Mickey Free. He goes, yes, I remember you. So that was wild. I mean, he's not only is a great businessman, but he's got great retention for remembering people and faces.
Oh yeah. So how did he feel about like Ace Frehley, starting Frehley, which Frehley's Comet, what a great name, huh?
Yeah, it was of course the play off of Haley's Comet.
Right, yeah.
His name is actually pronounced Fraley.
Right. Yeah, Fraley, really, so it sounded like Haley.
Fraley and Haley, yeah. So that was the thing there. Gene, later on when I would talk to you, because Gene, fast forward again, Gene signed me to his record label with my solo band after Fraley's Comet. And the conversation Gene and I had, he didn't really talk that much about Ace. Either he was somewhat indifferent. I think he was carefully gauging his words, probably. But I think that he felt that, from a business standpoint, anything that Ace would do to promote Ace and consequently the back catalog of Kiss, that's a good thing. But I think that he always thought it'd be good if they could get back together and do another tour, which eventually that did happen.
What prompted him to take the makeup off? Was that just something they felt like they needed, or was it because Ace was starting his own little thing, and how'd that happen?
Well, I really don't know the entire story. I think that was just a business move where perhaps they'd already saturated the market with the makeup and the albums, and so they thought, hey, let's do something a little different.
Yeah,
I think maybe they were tired of hiding from the media. Maybe the gig was up. It was getting a little bit old shtick. I don't entirely know, but I could see them saying, let's take the makeup off, and they can see our faces, and let's run with that for a while.
Yeah.
So it was kind of an uplift to the brand and to see what happened. I'm speculating here. I really don't know, because Ace and I never really talked about that part that I remember of Kiss.
I remember Craig telling me one time, he said when he saw Kiss, he's like, who the hell are these guys? They ain't going to go anywhere.
It was Alex Cooley's Ballroom in 1974. And all they had was some police lights up over on the PA on each side, and they were all dressed up in their makeup. And I was going, these guys, they're a club band. They ain't never going nowhere, man. And, figure.
Boy, was he wrong.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the brilliance of Kiss, and I've learned this over the years because I wasn't a Kiss fan, but the brilliance of Kiss was perseverance, drive, belief, and then eventually developing ability. I mean, Ace was predominantly the most influential guitar player and musician in besides Peter Criss. I mean, they all were two different people. You know, Peter Criss the drummers and Gene Simmons the bass players and Ace and Paul Stanley the singers and guitar players. They all had their different talents, but they all got better as it progressed, and so did the stage show. So all the unbelievability of them being able to make it, you know, all of a sudden it just kept growing and kept growing and morphed into just what became the Kiss. I mean, I was never a Kiss fan, but I appreciated and admired what they did on stage. It's like, wow, that's brilliant. Everything they did was smart.
Yeah,
you know?
it was.
It was more about the music.
I worked
It
for
was
the local
different.
stagehand union and worked up at the Blossom Music Center a lot, and they played up there a lot. And they're great, man. They're a great band.
Oh yeah,
live,
yeah,
they're a great band. Yeah, they sound great.
And I learned more respect and admiration for them after I played with Ace Frehley. And that was because of the fans of the ones that liked me, because there were some fans that didn't care for me because for whatever reason. But yeah, I was too blonde, too California. I don't know. I learned to really admire and respect Kiss the more I was playing with Ace and after Ace, because the fans, a lot of fans to this day, they'll be listening right now. I mean, they stuck with me because they appreciate what contributions I made to Ace Frehley's records, based on, you know, songwriting and the musical dynamic, and they are some serious fans. And
yeah, oh
you know,
yeah, they don't mess around.
Really, I really admire them and thank them wholeheartedly. And with that, you know, you back up and I go, well, you know, that's because of Kiss. So, and then there's some Kiss songs that I actually do. I actually like, enjoy playing, and I think we're going to be doing. I think I'll be doing maybe a couple or one at least. I'm doing a show in Florida, actually Florida, for the Kill Cancer, or something, Kiss Cancer Kills, or I haven't got the title right, so I shouldn't be announcing that. But so they're all the Kiss franchises. They do wonderful work and wonderful job, and you know, of course, he's a smart businessman.
Oh yeah, I heard a little something about they were going to be they're working on some kind of like a AI thing. Like, do you hear anything about that? Might be a secret, but
No.
I did hear something about that.
When you know Gene and you know his mindset, and you know Gene Simmons is like Colonel Tom Parker and Elvis Presley all in one, because he's the brain and the artist, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the thing is that I said, and I probably said this maybe, what the hell is that noise? 15 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, I don't know. That's a moot point. But eventually, when Kiss retires, Gene is going to franchise them out as a Blue Man Group. So you'll have your Kiss in Florida, you'll have your Kiss in Atlantic City, you'll have your Kiss in Las Vegas, and you know it would be a group, you know, like a tribute group, but it would be controlled by Ace. I mean Ace, geez, controlled by Gene. Wow, controlled by Gene. Well, that may be more controllable if Gene uses AI.
Yeah, like a hologram thing, you know.
Exactly, because it's even better than hologram. He doesn't have to. I mean, he'll have to pay something somewhere to someone, but he won't have to pay it to musicians. And of course, everything will be dead on. And I don't. They may even use their own tracks from the original recordings, remastered or touched up. I don't know. I have no information on this at all.
Yeah.
But if I was Gene, and I know how Gene thinks, he's many steps ahead of the game, because it's a good show for people in generations to see and or experience. You know, it'd be great if they could do that with Zeppelin. It'd be great if they could do that, you know, with the Beatles. You know, which, you know, I would see Beatles love and whole different type of approach there. But yeah, it's a possibility. I'm sure it's in the works.
Did you spend much time?
Didn't Kiss do a cartoon? I think there was a Kiss cartoon.
I remember
Kiss dolls. Whoever
Oh, yeah.
the merchandising people were brilliant. They're all over the place.
Yeah, and I mean stuff I don't even know about. I mean, because I'm not that deep into that whole thing. You know, when I play with bands, it was okay. You're with 707, now you're with Ted Nugent, now you're with Cheap Trick, now you're with Ace Frehley, now you're back to Cheap Trick. So it was business for me. Although Cheap Trick was one of my favorite bands of musical things that I liked, but yeah, Kiss. You know, Gene marketed everything. You know, I mean, to this day. And that'll be a rebranding of all that. I mean, can you imagine all that stuff, you know, happening? The AI that shows it.
Oh wow, yeah. Once
he's
he breaks the seal on that, everybody will be doing it. You know.
Cheap Trick offered me a job after the Skynyrd plane crash, right after the crash in '78. I wanted to know if I wanted to be their guitar tech. And I said, how many guitars you got? And he said, 28. And I said, no, thank you.
that would knock it knocked out a lot of our guitar techs.
I think he's got more than that now.
I played a lot of them in his basement in Rockford in his first house he built. And I went down there and they weren't anywhere near lined up in any manner, shape, form. This was in the early 90s, I guess it was, or 86, I don't remember. But it's, yeah, go ahead and play whatever you want. Okay, so I started opening up the case. Of course, all the strings were, you know, beaten. But it was fun. It was, I played a lot of his guitars, but yeah, that's a lot. I mean, now I'm not touring heavily or at all virtually anymore. I do some shows here and there, but yeah, to go out and take that many guitars, you know.
Yeah, Skynyrd had 10, Journey had about 10, Foreigner had about 10. Yeah. I worked with all of them. Yeah. I did Marshall Tucker for 7 years then too.
Wow.
Yeah, Craig worked with a lot of bands at Foreigner and everything, and they're getting ready to
write a book. You got to write that book, Craig.
Yeah, he might write one. He might. Right
now, before it all evaporates. I mean, I was worried about that shit happening to me. Like, I won't remember. I should have kept a diary, you know. But when I sat down this actual laptop that I'm doing this podcast off of in 2018, I started writing, and I go, oh, I remember. And I'll start, you know, oh, this shit too. And I'll, you know, make notes, and it'll come back to you. But people want to read that stuff, you know.
There's some stuff happening present day I might someday like to write about. I'll tell you. This stuff about Skynyrd not wanting their music played at Trump rallies has kind of got me a little bit annoyed.
It's funny. A lot of that, I think. Well, I can't speak for them, but there's some virtue signaling going on with all that crap.
Yeah.
And I voluntarily actually I have a lot of friends that worked at Fox News in New York, and we actually did a live broadcaster with 4x actually a couple times. And one of my patriotic songs on 4x record, the CD, was a song called Amber Waves. And one of the guys that worked at Fox, who's a great friend, great fan, he got it to the Trump camp. So they had the song. I'm just, you know, waiting for them to try to play it. Oh,
that would be cool.
Go ahead and play it. You know, you want a new one? I'll write you a new one. You know, but
yeah,
I understand. You know how that works, and you know, and some people are going to shy away because they feel the stigma of it, but you know, yeah, I just can't. I know we won't jump into it too much, but I'm not offering up any of my songs to you know.
Oh, go ahead. Feel free.
There's not a chance. I mean, there was a chance that a few years back that I was auditioning for, or not. Yeah, I know this big group, and I was going to play for them. They asked me to play keyboards for them, and then I come to find out, just before I went to audition, you know, come to find out that they were going to champion Hillary Clinton, and I said, I'm out.
Oh God.
I don't want to be in the same area as that woman. So, you know, that's my personal thought, you know.
I'm there too, man.
I bloody my hands when I earn my living along with this, you know. I work blue collar,
So was it 83 when 707 disbanded? 1983, somewhere around there?
That's about right, yeah.
Is that when you did you, because you have some affiliation with John Waite. Is that when you met him?
I met John Waite in '85 when John Regan from Fraley's Comet, the bass player.
What a John Regan, man. What a great, you got to hang with him, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, we were friends for life, business partners, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But yeah, 707 did real well until we didn't. We had record label problems. Neil Bogart passed away from Casablanca after he started Boardwalk Records, and we were on Boardwalk. And then they didn't know what to do with us, and the album that we made got shelved. And then it was called The Bridge. And then we wrote another album called Megaforce for the movie, which came out. And then we were touring off of that and did pretty well with REO Speedwagon. But at that point in time, heavy rock was coming back in. And I was really all for that. Yes, let's get some heavy rock, because I always wanted to play a lot heavier than 707 was doing. So we just kind of wound down, and some of the band members left, and we had problems with personnel and management. And it's all in my book about what happened there. But yeah, it finally disbanded in about '83. And that's when Kevin Russell, the guitar player, and I were asked to sing backups on Ted Nugent's album, Penetrator album, of which we did. And then consequently, Ted Nugent called me in late '83 to say, hey, you want to come out and rehearse and do the tour with us? Because he knew he watched me play guitar and keyboards, and I could sing, backups easily. And so that's what I did. I went out there, and in January I joined his band in 84. 84. I'm sorry, it's '84. I joined his band, and that was the end of 707 as I knew it.
That had to be pretty wild, Ted Nugent, huh? How long were you with him?
I was with all of '84, all of touring '84. I knew him from when we played with him shows when I was with 707, because we did a lot of summer festivals with a lot of different bands, Rainbow and Ozzy Osbourne and John Cougar Mellencamp and all kinds of bands. I think Loverboy, I think even. But
Craig, you guys had to cross paths,
Well, I was just going to ask him if he was familiar with Michael Cartellone from the damn Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, I know the name.
Because he's Skynyrd's drummer now. Lynyrd Skynyrd's drummer.
No kidding.
Yeah, damn Yankees drummer.
Michael Cartellone's been Lynyrd Skynyrd's drummer for, 20 years.
Wow.
The post-crash Skynyrd.
Since it was about 4 I haven't been with him since 2006, and it was about 4 years before that, so it's been 2000. Yeah, it's been 20 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So was John Waite before Ted Nugent, or when?
Well, John Waite after Nugent, then I went to Cheap Trick in '85 and '86. And then I met John Regan when he was playing with John Waite in '85, or '85 or '86. I think it was '85, and then '86. John said he's got this project he's doing. I quit Cheap Trick in '86 December, but I knew John Waite from just his solo stuff through John Regan, and I never really because Cheap Trick was touring with John Waite. I saw him all the time. We didn't hang per se. John Waite was a special, different kind of character, and not overly reclusive, but he wasn't around a lot all over the place. They do sound checks, and he wasn't there. That's common.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't see him a lot, but he was one of my influences as well from the Babies.
Yeah, he's doing some new stuff now. I've noticed he was doing, I guess it was around COVID, he's doing a lot of acoustical stuff, touring with some guys acoustically, and it sounded really good,
Yeah, he's like is one of the best singers.
Oh, phenomenal singer.
And then Robin Zander is one of the best American rock singers in his heyday, especially. Still a great singer. And it was nice to be on stage with both those guys at that time. Going, wow, I learned a lot, from vocally from listening to them, and of course singing with Robin. But matter of fact, 4 by Fate, one of my last recording bands, we redid one of John Waite's songs, "These Times Are Hard for Lovers," and it came out pretty damn good.
When was Budokan? You were involved with Cheap Trick Budokan, right?
I was involved in the anniversary show.
Oh, okay.
The first one was the one that made him huge. That was 78 or 79, I think it was. And then I think they played it after that a couple of times. And then when I had joined them again, because I played with them 85, 86, and then I was with Frehley's Comet 87, 88, and then back to Cheap Trick in 90 to 96. And we played Budokan twice, and we recorded it once, one of the times. And that was for me, it was historical. It was great. I loved it, because I was playing the band. I love the band, and here I'm playing at Budokan where they became famous. It's like, wow, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, you. So what? Were you mainly keyboards and like backup vocals?
Yeah, I did all the keyboards, of course. Only toward the very end, I do a couple acoustic embellishment guitars and stuff, but they didn't utilize me for that. And I did all the high harmonies. When Rick wouldn't do them or was busy running around, I'd do I'd do them anyhow. High harmonies, and then I'd double with Robin and do the intricate harmonies with Robin. And then very rarely, when Robin wasn't feeling up to par, he'd give me the look on stage right in the middle of the song. I'd be side stage left, and he'd be singing. He'd look at me like that, and that meant hit the part.
You guys kind of from a distance look alike.
Yeah, thank you. He's an incredibly good-looking guy, and from a distance, I can kind of look like him.
And you can kind of sing like him too, I imagine.
I can imitate his voice. I mean, nobody can double that guy. He's phenomenal. But I can imitate him and sound a lot like him. As a matter of fact, when his son, who's now embellishing them on tour, Robin Taylor, when I went to do a couple shows with them in 2000, I think it was 2001, we were doing some stuff here locally, and they asked me to come do a couple shows. I said, yeah, I'll come do some stuff. And Robin Taylor, he was a young boy then, he was backstage, and Robin Zander said, hey, well, let's do this part, sing this with me. And so we sing it together, and it was so funny. I remember his son looking at me going like,
yeah,
I sound just like his daddy,
Wow,
and
crazy.
So when we go to Japan from a distance, all the Japanese girls would run up.
Oh,
to me.
I thought you were him, huh?
No, I'm not Robin. I'm not Robin, and they didn't. No, not sign my name, but I'm not Robin. Robin over there. Oh, Robin.
It's kind of weird over there. They have all the words memorized, and that's what Craig said. When Skynyrd played over there, they were like,
it's a whole different. My first time in Japan was wonderful. I love Japan. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, I love the people there. I love the country, the cleanliness, the way they can make a coffee shop out of a closet. It's amazing what they can do with small spaces. But between songs, they'd yell and scream like at the end of the song, beginning of the song, and then all of a sudden, quiet.
Oh yeah, and wait for the next one.
Like, the fuck is going? Why is it so quiet all of a sudden?
Yeah, well, they're pretty. I guess they're not a radical people. I mean, they unless you're trying to fight them in a war.
Well,
they come to pay attention to the show, and that's what they do.
They're very respectful.
They're different, type of people, of course, as all different races are. But yeah, they're very, very polite. They're very proud of their race, which is the way it should be. But then you can have some that have a lot of tattoos that do a lot of different thinking.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh,
So, with Ace Frehley, I saw where you auditioned with him for him for like 3 times
but twice.
and twice,
Yeah.
and he finally, what was it that made him eventually go, "Hey, I need to get this guy in my band here"?
Well, it when I first was brought in, I was brought in primarily to kind of consolidate the band from them having a keyboard player and a guitar player just to just a guitar player songwriter that can play keyboards and sing lead. So I come in, and when I first came in, I'm playing like I always play, real fat and heavy, and a few leads, but I'm not a lead jam player. And Ace was used to more of incredible lead players, like the guy he had in his band prior, who I'm good friends with, Richie Scarlett. He's a phenomenal lead player, phenomenal musician, really. And I don't do that style. My leads are melodies, and I write my leads, anyhow, different style altogether. So Ace wasn't overly thrilled with my lead playing, which I can understand. And John said, "Well, just come back. But he's got to listen to your songs and realize what's going on." So that's what happened. The next time it came around, I buffed it up a little bit and played a little bit more, and then Ace said, "I think this can work." And so, with me embellishing, playing a few more leads, and then bringing some new songs, they agreed that I would be a good fit for the band.
And you wrote quite a few songs for that band. Right?
I wrote some songs for the first album. I think 1 or 2 that were in there, and then for the second album, the second studio album, I wrote half of it because Ace wasn't ready with his tracks, and we had to get it done. And John and I were trying to finish it on budget, and a lot of speculation went around like, "Oh, just Todd Howard's trying to steal the Comet." Yeah, like I was in Kiss and I could steal the Comet. It was such a dumb.
Well, he was sick a lot, wasn't he? He was going through some.
He had a lot of
health problems.
Yes. Well, yeah, we had bronchitis, a lot of chest things, and he'd be on antibiotics, and you can't drink beers when you're on antibiotics, so he'd get sick again. So, in the time we're trying to cut this out, he was completely sick all the time. We were just trying to get the fucking thing done. And John and I did get it done. I wanted to do things a little differently. I wanted to have Ace a little more involved. I wanted a little more heavy, looser rock feel to it. We didn't get that done. My plans for the third studio album were to do just that. I was get more Ace more involved in co-writing with me, and get some more Ace Kiss anthemic type ideas that would highlight, showcase Ace, and I could do my stuff too, which was going to be heavier. I want to be heavier because I'm really a heavy songwriter on guitar and some piano stuff. But as soon as I start singing, it's not really all that heavy sounding.
And that song, "It's Over Now," didn't you originally wasn't Cheap Trick looking at that song?
Very good. Yes, I wrote that song for Cheap Trick in 1985 or 86. I think I wrote that song for them to do, and I played it for them. I played for Bunny E. Carlos in the studio, the rehearsal studio. And he looked at it, listened, and goes, "Wow, that's pretty good, but you need to edit it down a little bit." So okay, so I edited it down, and I played it for the manager. I played it for the band. And the manager loved it. This is a great song. He said, "We got to do. You got to play it for the guys." He wanted me to push it on the band. So I played it for the band, and they went, "Not nice," but they never did it.
More of a keyboard song.
Yeah,
right?
It was a keyboard song. It's kind of intricate guitar parts, and I wrote it specifically for Robin Zander to sing. Especially, when I'm singing in the chorus, "You will never hear me say it's over now." That's for Robin Zander.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it sounds like
Change the part. I'm just leave the part in there.
that would have probably been a huge hit if they'd
I
have
would have
taken.
made a lot of money. Well, yes. So that didn't happen. And then when I put it into Fraley's Comet, everybody was saying, this is going to do great. This is going to be that. And blah, blah. And Atlantic Records dumped it out there as a third single and put that much money into it. Is there a zero? There it is. Zero.
Damn. Yeah.
So, I missed it by that much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of bruises, I got another bruise right there's a bruise right there. See it? That's what you get for doing manual labor.
Yeah, I call it. Whenever you get old, man, if a gnat lands on your arm, it'll bruise. It's like, damn, man, what did I hit it on there? It's like,
I use the gnat analogy a lot. Like, that son of a bitch has the brain span and retention of a gnat.
But if I bump my arm on something, I'd be like, where'd all that blood come from? And I'm like, what did I hit? I don't even know what I hit my arm on.
And I'm constantly trying to dodge because it's a minefield here. I mean, we're on top of one of our renters' buildings, a mechanic shop, but the back 3 buildings are all my dad's collector cars and some of my stuff and our off-road stuff and Harleys and motorhomes, but it's all minefield of stuff just waiting to jab you.
Oh, yeah, it's a hemophiliac's nightmare.
Oh yeah. If you're on a lot of blood thinners, you're a dead man back there.
Hey, I saw a thing recently. It was a TikTok, and it was Ace Frehley, and some guy was asking him about Van Halen, and he goes, "He got that tapping from me." Did you see that?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Wow. I'm gonna go with no. I mean, I can't I can't dispel it. I can't give credit to it or not to it. I don't know if he, because Van Halen played for Kiss, opened up for Kiss, but Van Halen was doing that long before they opened up for Kiss. It was, I believe, if the story goes right, it was a country guitarist. And Chet Atkins used to do that shit too, but there was another country guitarist maybe that I think Eddie got a lot of that off of. Now, Eddie may have seen Ace do that thing he was doing there at one point or another, but I'm pretty sure that's not where Eddie picked up that craft.
Yeah, Eddie, he said he couldn't afford these pedals and things, so he had to be creative with the frets instead of, the electronics. And so, I mean, the guy was a genius when it came to that kind of stuff,
He was playing, matter of fact.
Did you ever meet him?
Unfortunately, no. I was going to audition for the band at one point in time because I thought I could pull it off, but I never got a chance to because it was actually when Dave came back into the band, then they canceled all the idea of trying to audition anybody. But I'm not sure how far I would have made it. But a lot of people said you would have fit that band very well, because I can imitate, I could sing like that as well, but I never got to meet him. One of my good friends who did sound and for Chopper Kovac, he knew Eddie very well, and he sent me a lot of items that are phenomenal items to have, or not, just video pictures and stuff from the Van Halen era, and then, of course, Eddie worked with a few Steinbergers later on in his career.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah. And I knew Ed Roman, and he worked with Ed Roman, and I'm not sure if he did anything with Ned Steinberger himself, but no, I never got to meet Eddie. My dad got to meet Michael Anthony.
Oh, really?
Car show, because Michael Anthony's all into custom cars.
Yeah.
But it wasn't talking about music. Michael Anthony was talking about a part on his car or some car, and my dad overheard him, and he goes, Well, that belonged on 52, not a 51. He goes, what? He goes, yeah, that blah 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 blah. And Michael goes, oh, I think you're right, you know. And then later on, my dad comes back from the car show. He goes, hey, do you know this guy named Michael Anthony? I said, Michael Anthony? Yeah, he plays this group, Van Halen. He said, yeah, I had to correct him on a car part at a car show. I said, way to go, Dad, you know. So, that's a little story there, but.
I heard a story about Eddie. He had his hip replaced, and he made the surgeon save the piece of the bone out of his hip, and he kept it on the coffee table at his house. And when people came over, he'd hand it to him, and he'd go, "That's my hip bone right there."
Well, that's something that we as artists would do. Actually, a lot of people would do that, but I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I would do the very same thing. Fortunately, I haven't had any hip surgeries, but never know, knock wood.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, he was a little different that way.
I had a metal plate taken out of my arm, and I wanted to keep it, and they wouldn't let me.
Really?
Yeah,
You paid for it. Why the hell couldn't you keep it?
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know. I said I want to keep that metal plate, and they wouldn't let me have it. They said it was some kind of biohazard or something.
My aunt has a bowl of one of my last remaining aunt has a bowl of screws that used to be in her back.
Oh wow! Yeah, they wouldn't let me have it.
My dad gave me his pacemaker that kept him alive for 10 years. You know, the only thing I got from him is his old pacemaker.
I was going to sell it on eBay. There was people wanting to buy it. I was going to sell it on eBay.
You know, that's ambitious and that's industrious.
That's why they didn't want to give it to you, Craig.
We know you're not selling this on the market, you bastard.
You could have used it on your tractor or something, you know.
Yeah.
So
back up.
What ended the stint with Haley's Comet or Fraley's Comet? What happened there?
Actually, we got called Abe Friendly's Comment in Canada one time. Abe Friendly's Comment.
You did? Really?
It was on the roster of something for immigration. We laughed about that shit for hours on the tour bus. But what happened was in 1988, we were on tour with Iron Maiden, supporting the new record then. And we, quite frankly, just ran out of money.
Oh, yeah?
It was mismanaged financially, of which I had nothing to do with, because I was a low man on the totem pole, so I didn't make any calls or decisions or any shots, because that's just the way it was, you know. I mean, I would interject ideas, but yeah, we ran out of money, so we went home to regroup. Come to find out, somebody else had to invest a lot of money just to get us out of debt, and so the studio decided, well, let's put him in, get him in, have him do another record. And okay, well, we just got done with this one, but you know, that's the way studios work, recording or labels work. They wanted to keep cross-collateralizing your album so they didn't have to pay any points to you. So they said, okay, we'll do another record, but this new third record, we're going to have Ace write and sing all the songs.
Oh yeah, and you didn't like that because you're trying to make a living, man. I said what? I mean, that was not only this, but it was that. Yeah.
Now I'm not going to make any publishing money. I mean, we weren't making any money really touring, and we made the money we made in merchandising, we put back into touring, which we lost. So I wasn't going to make any money now because I can't write songs or sing any. I said, I talked to John about it. I said, how the hell am I going to make a living? I mean, we're not,
right.
This is kind of a sad state of affairs. So I called Ace, and after some thinking, I had 3 young kids at that point, and I said, Ace, I've got to leave. I can't stay here and make no money with the band. You know, that's devastating to my income. And he goes, well, and his exact words were, well, I mean, I usually say it in his voice, but he said, well, I wish you wouldn't go, but, I hate to see you leave, but I understand, what what you got to do. I said, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And that was it.
And then you had to, I guess you went back, did something with Cheap Trick.
Yeah, well, after when I left Fraley's Comet, I started some local bands, about 2 or 3 of them, and I finally got signed to Gene Simmons' label, and we were going to get signed by distribution by Warner's, I think it was, and all of a sudden, things were going to go good. Here we go, 1990. All right, things are going to happen. I'm going to have a second chance. Boom, boom, let's go. And here comes grunge and all the hair metal bands.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
And the option of picking up my band, which was Hardware at the time, off Gene Simmons Records through Warner's, got dropped like a hot potato. So in the meantime, some people that I was working with through Simmons camp said, hey, Todd HOWARTH's available again. So they said, hey, you come back out and tour with us. So I did. I rejoined in 90, I think middle of 90 or 91, and play with them up until 96.
Then you were supposed to do something with Heart, and something happened there too, right?
Yes, I was approached by a guy that I'm now real good friends with, and they asked, because Heart used to play with Cheap Trick a lot, and they had their keyboard player and I guess maybe sometime guitar player was leaving, and so they knew of me, and they wanted to know if I had auditioned for them, and I said, yeah, I could. I'm very interested because I love Heart. I was always a big Heart fan, and so they set up an audition, and I was just starting the 4x Fate band, and so it was one of those toss-up things where I thought, do I really want to do this, or want to do this record with 4x Fate and get this out and take a gamble with 4x Fate? And so there's a lot of contributing factors there that we had mentioned before, and I decided I'm going to stay with 4x Fate.
But you did do the audition with Heart?
No, I never went up to LA to do it. I was like 2 days away, and I said, I've got to withdraw because of a couple of things, and I'm going to take my gamble with 4x Fate.
So did you ever spend much time, like personal time, around Gene Simmons? You got any Gene Simmons stories that you could tell us?
Not a lot of personal times, other than when we'd have business meetings about the songs, my band, his record label. When he played with us at the Limelight, Fraley's Comet, he came up on stage. I don't have a lot of, not really. Unfortunately, I don't. I haven't. I look at him from all I knew him personally was on a brilliant business level. I mean, I went to his house in Beverly Hills when he had his house up there, and it was quite palatial, nice place, of course. And we discussed the music stuff, but it was all business. It wasn't about Kiss stuff or Kiss stories, and quite frankly, I never asked him because I wasn't really interested. I mean, that sounds pretentious, precocious, assholiness, but I didn't care. All I was like, okay, what can we do for this band that I've got now? What are the steps we need to take? And he kept saying, well, you need to grow your hair longer, and maybe stop playing so many instruments, get out there and start singing more, That's a good idea, and blah, blah, blah. And then he came to some of the showcases that we did. He said, what made you decide to stand on that stump at the Whiskey? He came to the Whiskey one time.
Oh, really?
To see me play, and with somebody else that I won't mention, but he came to see me play, and he critiqued or criticized what I did. He said, what contemplated you to do that? And I thought, I don't know, I just did. Well, don't do that anymore. Okay.
I can almost hear his voice saying that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's in his voice, his timbre is just like Netanyahu.
Yeah,
he of course he's Jewish descent,
right?
But those guys have the same timbre in their voice. So every time I hear a Netanyahu speaking, I think Gene Simmons. They sound the same to me.
And he doesn't seem to get excited real easy. I saw him on some talk show. I think it was at Joy Bear, and she started an argument between him and his wife, and she got up and left. And he was like, "Honey, don't leave." He was just like real low key, and
he is very tempered.
Yeah,
to his credit, he's very good. That's his business side, and his demeanor. He's very tempered and calculated on all that stuff. And that's, he would initially rein everybody in, and then Paul was his business partners. As everybody knows, it was Gene and Paul and Peter and Ace. But Gene had a hell of a time reining in Ace, because you don't really rein in Ace. And then Peter, those two guys, they get together. It's just like, walking cats, walking balloons. It's just very difficult to do. But Gene, he had the good discipline of being able to try to keep things calm and very businesslike, until he was on stage. And then it was showtime.
How did those guys meet? All those guys, Kiss. How'd they meet? I don't know the
complete backstory, except for I think it was Gene and Paul in New York City, and they put an ad in the paper.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Village Voice, I think it was. You'd have to ask some, I'm sure some Kiss fans will tell you, because they know everything about it, and I don't. But they answered ads. I know Ace did, and I think Peter did as well, if memory serves. But yeah, they were just looking to put together a phenomenal band with apparently police lights on the top of their
right, Craig?
Yeah.
Sparklers for fireworks.
I can hear Craig. Well, what are they going to do with this? I wonder who came up with the makeup idea. That had to be Gene, huh?
I don't. That is a good question. Yeah, you'll have to go through the archives of those interviews, because I know about my shit, but that's I had no idea. But it was brilliant. It was good. It made you look like, what the? You look on TV. Hey, what the hell? These guys? What the hell? Boom! Oh wow! Hey,
what are you drinking there, Todd? What is
it's just
that?
Water.
Oh, that's a cup.
Yeah, it's a cup. It's a fan of mine. It's called Return of the Comet.
Oh, cool.
He made it for me. There's Anton Fig, who I just played with recently. There's Ace Frehley. There's the late John Regan, and there's me.
Man,
in foot-high boots, because I'm shorter than everybody.
That there. John Reagan, man. Oh my God, that's guys.
This is made for me by my buddy Choo Choo Ken Henderson.
I thought it was a tall boy or something when I first saw it. I was like, what the?
Every once in a while, I've kind of backed off from my drinking. Well, if you want to get stuff done, you don't drink, or at least I don't. So I wait till my cocktails like late in the evening, and then, or on the weekends now is primarily what I'm doing my weekends. But yeah, if this is full of vodka, woohoo, we'd be having a lot of fun right now.
I have one of those exact same cups for rocking for a reason they gave me.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
that exact same cup. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's decorated or like that too. It's rocking for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the Frehley's Comet thing.
Yeah. They got mine decorated like that too.
Yeah, this is a keepsake for me, because it's he made it for me, and I've given him some stuff, and he's a great guy, great fan.
So what are you up to now, Todd? We're gonna go ahead and get close to wrapping this up. You've spent a lot of time with us. What you up to now?
Right now, I'm in late October of 22. I finally released my 3 solo CDs. They're called the Canvas series, and I'm still selling them. And there's 3 CDs that I played all the instruments myself, and recorded everything myself. And I'll never do that again, because my God, what a bunch of work. But it's all me. It's kind of hard with a flexion here, but the first one here is actually the first one here is I got the wrong damn CD. Son of a bitch! Hang on. Yeah, you think what the guy would know what he's doing over here? I got well, for Christ's sake.
You know, you and I have one thing in common. You're a painter, and I paint oil and canvas and oil. You're a painter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was in an advanced art class in school,
Cool.
and I still paint. My son did all the artwork on the CDs, but yeah, I still paint, but I haven't done it in a while. But there's 3 CDs, the heavy ones under the other ones, but this one's called the Comet Canvas, and I did acoustical versions of all the Fraley's Comet songs that I wrote and sang.
That's neat.
And these are still for sale on my website or my Shopify site, toddhowarth.biz. And there's a
Okay.
bunch of other things on there that you can see at toddhowarth.biz, including, which this is just phenomenal. And I'm actually sitting on the box here. I'll get out. I've got these original Fraley's Comet Rock Soldiers fan club cards.
Well, that's just like Craig. He's got all kinds of stuff too. His old business cards, Rossington Collins cards, and
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that, and I'm letting them go. Kathy Regan, John's widow, gave them to me because she found them, and I said, look, I'll let these go for a very small fee to fans that want them, and we'll split the proceeds. They're $5 a piece. It's not that
yeah,
big.
that's not bad. Yeah.
I'm currently finishing up my autobiography. As I said, I'm hoping to get it done before Christmas, but I keep agreeing to these guest appearances and keeps dragging me out of town. But I will get it done. I'm also going to work on some new music on my little studio right back here. I got electronic drums that they sound like huge. And then I've got all my little studio that I work on. I'm recording some new material. I'm doing some guest appearances, like I said, and just working on. Probably end up selling some tracks and I'm doing some musical stuff, instrumental stuff for YouTube channels as well, kind of like rock influence type I can do any genre because I can play or write any kind of music mostly, but I'm very busy with that kind of stuff. So it's and plus taking care of my folks
Right. Yeah.
who are elderly, and managing our commercial real estate properties, which thank God for that. My father built this place years ago, and now he's 88, and mom's 92, and so I take care of everything, especially physically, and I also advise on contracts and leases and renters and that type of thing. So yeah, I'm extraordinarily busy.
What's your opinion of rock and roll and where it's going these days? Like, what's your advice? What would be your advice to a young group coming up? Because we know a lot of young artists, and what would be your advice to a young artist trying to do rock and roll?
I think that they have to concentrate on. First off, they really have to want to do it. Second off, for the love of God, have something to fall back on, because you will fall back.
Yeah.
It's inevitable, unless you want to live in a van down by the river, whatever. But but you better want to do it, and take your influences, run with them. Always write, always create. Make sure that you can live with the people you're surrounding yourself with. In the band, make sure you enjoy the talent that they bring. The people in the band will bring. Don't be afraid to be re-influenced by new stuff. Don't chase after every trend, because you'll go nuts doing that. Playing your instruments and making it believable on stage is going to be huge, I think, pretty soon. A lot of the young players are coming back out and learning how to play. And
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, it's a lost art. There's not any musicians out there anymore. It's
well, yeah, it's unfortunately there's a lot of jukebox and stuff. I don't know.
computer stuff.
It has no soul.
Auto tune and
Yeah, it's I don't correct. All my vocals are done dead on. I mean, I don't use auto tune, nor do I need it. But if these kids can get out there and really emulate that energy and power and not go overly political. Like I have my views, but on stage I don't bring that crap out. Just get up there and entertain the people. They want to be, you're not Taylor Swift. Get out there and entertain the people with the full force of rock and roll. People, they want to leave their problems. They want to hear some good stuff. Like what was that? Greta Van Fleet first came out.
Oh yeah, Greta Van Fleet. Yeah.
Here's the new Zeppelin. They sounded great. I don't really know what they're doing now, but I'm making a comparison because I listen to them. Shit, this sounds great. But the young bands, just keep honing your instrument, crafting your songwriting. Never be afraid to learn. Stay true to your style, but don't be afraid to step out of the box and occasionally experiment and do your genre. I mean, and really a push. You really have to want to do it. Keep the drive going.
When can we expect to see that book?
I'm hoping before Christmas, and that's a shameless plug, but it should be. Like I go home tonight and I'm going to read through hopefully a chapter and get that solidified and get on to the next chapter before I get too damn tired. Sometimes I'll read into late in the night, but I get it to the editor, have that edited, get the cover designed. I haven't come up with a title yet. I've got a title idea, get the pictures all assembled. I got a lot of pictures. Some are on this computer, some are on my phone of my career and of the credits and just get it out there. I'm hoping, God, it's already September, October, November. I'm thinking probably by November it should be ready. November.
Yeah, the legal aspects of a book. It's like I've talked to Ed King's widow, Sharon, his wife, and Ed never got to finish his book, and she's kind of having to do that for him, and she runs into a lot of, especially on the pictures part of it, getting permission for that stuff. So,
yeah, it depends on how far you can put. I don't know the legalities of that either. I've got some pictures where I know who took them. I have pictures I don't know who took them, but I can give credits. That's going to be a legal issue I'll have to approach with because I'm going to publish it myself. I'm not having a publisher do it. I'll have somebody put the book together, and then I'll it won't be a lot of pictures, but it'll have some family pictures. Yes, there we go. Yes,
Craig, you got any questions for Todd? Anything else you want to mention?
No. I was just no. Just thanks for coming on. You've been entertaining.
Not as much as you are, Craig. You're hilarious.
Craig's a nut, man. I tell you what, you ought to spend some time with him personally. The guy keeps you entertained all the time.
I want to do a routine. You be Tommy Chong and I'll be Cheech Marin. Too funny. It's great. But it's a pleasure to meet you, and Griff, you as well.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and in the future, is anything we can do for you, let us know. And
definitely, I'll be in touch with you. Hopefully, I won't be so detoured, distracted, deflected as I have been. We've been trying to do this interview now for a couple of months, but
I've noticed one thing about Todd is not too many people get back with you. When you called me back and you were like, "Man, I'm sorry," I was like, "Damn," I mean. This guy here's pretty cool, because most people, they just blow you off, and I really appreciated that. And I wasn't even thinking anything. I mean, you had a lot of problems going on, your parents, you were sick and you're dealing with your parents. And Craig and I have a rule. We don't bug people. We don't, we don't do that. So.
Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, usually you turn around. I'm very cordial. I try to get back to everybody I can. There's a lot of people on this phone that's like, oh my God, I can't, I can't follow and catch up. But it's important when people reach out and say, hey, you should talk to this person, like TP did. And then we talked, and I thought, yeah, this be good. I got to do this. But yeah, I thank you for being there again when I called. Thank you for answering the phone when I called.
Hey, it was all our pleasure.
Fantastic.
Todd Howard, thank you for coming on, and we wish you luck with your book, and maybe you can come back again sometime. Let us know what you're doing.
I will come back next time with no bruises.
All right.
And thank you, TP, for having Todd introducing us to Todd, and thanks again for this coffee cup. Actually, TP, a promoter TP knows, I can't think of his name right now, got us the coffee cup pipe, and TP sends me coffee all the time to put in it that I'm still using. So thank you, TP, and is that a wrap? Is that a wrap on this?
Yeah, YouTube demonetizes us for certain things, but Craig can take a hit off of that coffee pipe, and they don't know he's smoking weed. They think he's drinking coffee.
But that thing gets harsh, so I gotta when I hit my other pipe, I gotta hold up something and hide it. So,
you know what? We need to try to talk Todd into doing writing us an entry song to our podcast. If you get a minute, it only needs to be 30 seconds or something. Watch the podcast, and if you get a chance, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I may have to. I could do that. I may have to. We do a trade off here somehow.
Think about it. Something kind of funny, And
we have a couple already. One of them goes, "Welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast." That's one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. And don't forget Kathy Godsey and all the good friends that come along. And we'll be talking Skynyrd and leave you with a song. And then I go, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. See you later, alligator. At the wild crocodile. And that's a wrap. And we're out of here. Thank you there, Todd. Bye-bye. Cut.
See you, Todd.
That's hilarious. All right, guys. Thanks so much.